A renewal of ethnic violence in Kenya. Dozens of people were killed in weekend fighting in the Rift Valley. And aid workers fear that number could rise and further complicate mediation efforts. The CBC's David McGuffin is at the scene of some of this weekend's bloodiest fighting outside the capital.
Good morning, Suhana. I'm actually in Naivasha, which is just about 70 kilometers north of Nairobi, and this is where some of the worst fighting was over the weekend. There was several people killed here yesterday, hacked to death. About 10 people were burned to death in their house overnight here. We've just come from a sort of a makeshift refugee camp on the shores of Lake Naivasha. There's a hub of about 500 angry young men with clubs outside this makeshift refugee camp, separated by police from these refugees. The internal security minister just came by and tried to calm this mob, telling them that they have to live together with these people, that there should be no tribal differences, and he was pretty resoundingly booed by this crowd and shouted away. So things here remain tense. The violence that we saw here yesterday isn't flaring up today, but we do understand in other parts of the country there is violence flaring. In the northern Rift Valley, in Eldoret, we understand there are barricades set up there, and there is fighting going on, as well as in Kisumu, which is an opposition hotbed. We understand that there's mobs on the street there as well. Things in the capital, Nairobi, however, appear to be remaining calm today. But in the Rift Valley, which is really the center of all this ethnic violence, things are remaining hot.
And David, all of this is happening as mediation efforts are being made. How are those efforts progressing?
Well, they're not really progressing very well at all. In fact, since the initial meeting on Friday between the two leaders, President Mwai Kibaki and opposition leader Raila Odinga, there has been no meeting at all. Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General, who's here as a mediator, is met with them separately and is trying to get some sort of timetable for them to meet. He's asking them to put together mediation teams. But really, it doesn't appear like he's getting very far. Over the weekend, Kofi Annan visited the Rift Valley, visited many of the worst spots of the violence here, and he warned these leaders quite sternly. He said, what we're seeing now isn't just an electoral problem. What we're seeing now is a mass issue of human rights abuses, systematic human rights abuses is the word he used. Certainly, things here are very grim, and Kofi Annan is trying to point this out as sternly as he can to the two main leaders in this country. Joanna?
That's the CBC's David McGuffin in or outside Nairobi, Kenya.